I welcome you into this conversation. Today I feel like speaking with you just briefly, talking about something. And my something here is called trouble. I want to speak about trouble because many times I've heard people speaking, and even myself telling somebody that I am in trouble or I have trouble. Sometimes in places of work, you would hear an employee or a colleague saying, I am in trouble or I have trouble. In families, you will hear a parent, maybe a father, a mother, or even a son or a daughter talking about being in trouble. Even in church, even in businesses, in any areas. And many a times people speak that I am in trouble because indeed they are in trouble. Maybe it is business deal that has gone sour. Maybe somebody has made quite a loss in business. Maybe somebody has experienced some storm in business area and he has lost some relationships, or something bad has happened to them. Even in place of work, maybe somebody has messed up with a job and they are in trouble. Something wants to happen that may cost them their job. In family, you've done something that you don't think is right, or some people don't think that it's right, and they call it that you are in trouble. And this is the topic that I want to address today, being in trouble, and to help us to understand what happens when we're in trouble and how we can deal with trouble and how we can make good use of trouble. Therefore, this is my conversation with you today for a few minutes as I speak about trouble. I have read in the dictionary about the definition of trouble. And the dictionary says trouble is difficulty or problems. It calls it difficulty or problem. That when somebody is in any manner of difficulty, maybe as a father you have some difficulties raising up your children, maybe bringing up your family, taking good care of them, providing for them, that is trouble. It's a difficulty. Maybe as a mother, again, you have a certain difficulty. Even in issues of health, you may be having some difficulty there. You may be struggling with your health here and there, and you don't know what to do about it, or struggling just to keep your family, to keep your marriage, and that difficulty is called trouble. And at times we call it problem. Maybe the two of you cannot agree together. You keep on fighting and the family is going down. Maybe some secrets have been discovered and something has happened and it's about to eat you people. And you say, we have problem, we have this problem in our family. That is again what we call trouble. In the place of work, maybe as I said in the beginning, you have messed up with your work. You have not delivered as it is expected. Or there's somebody that is witch hunting you, is following you from behind every time to make sure that you fail in your place of work. And you say, I have difficulty with this boss. I have difficulty with this colleague. I have problem working with so and so. We say you are in some kind of trouble. And again, in the business places, when things are not working, when you brought stock and it's not going, your debtors are on you, creditors are looking for you, and you say, now I am in difficulty. Another word, it is, I am in trouble. In my years of life, the days I've stayed around, I have found myself in many troubles, many troubles. From the time I was a child, I used to have troubles that involved children. The days when I was growing up in high school, I used to have a lot of trouble in school, trouble with teachers, trouble with other students, trouble with my parents. I've had trouble with my parents a lot. As I grew up now, as a young adult again, I experienced a lot of trouble in places of work, in friendships, in relationships, in many occasions. And even now, as a pastor and as an adult man, I keep on experiencing trouble. It's like trouble is part and parcel of our lives. Trouble is something you cannot avoid. It's hard to go through a day without experiencing a trouble. Some trouble are so small, some trouble are so big, some troubles are detrimental in nature, very destructive. Some troubles are negligible. You just cross them and you move on. But all I want to tell you, as a person, I've experienced a lot of trouble, I've gone through a lot of trouble. Some troubles almost destroyed me. Some troubles were so simple, I crossed them so easily. Some troubles are still disturbing me up to this particular time. And I know you also go through trouble anywhere. And one of my prayer today as I speak with you is, may God come into your trouble. That's why we sing and say, when the ocean rise and thunder storm, I will soar with wings like eagles. And I pray that in any trouble, may God cause you to soar with wings as eagles. Meaning you go higher than where your trouble is. Meaning you go against that trouble, you surmount it, and you are able to defeat it. Now, what is trouble? I say troubles, they are both negatives and positive, depending on how you look at them. A trouble can be positive, a trouble can be negative, depending on how you are looking at them. people away from you may look at it very negative. And in the initial stages, all troubles, they are very negative. But depending on how you want to look at it, depending on how you analyze it, it can be positive. And again, it can be negative. If you do nothing about it, it is definitely negative. If you do something about it, you can determine how it will end. And since I'm a pastor, I am tempted to quote the Bible. The Bible says, and all things work together for good, for those that love our God, that God turns everything into becoming good. Therefore, this is an high attitude of God when we are studying trouble. It's an attitude of God. It's a look that God has on every trouble. And say, all these things will work for good. And that's why the time Jesus is called to heal Lazarus by Martha and Mary, he says, let us go. But this disease is not unto death. This trouble is not unto death. The reason is that the Son of God may be glorified. That it is a trouble, yes, but it's going to be used for good. The right eye, the right attitude towards that trouble. And that's why I'm telling you today, in your place of work, I'm speaking to you in your business, I'm speaking to you in your house, wherever you are, even in the church, people like me who are in ministry, that trouble can be negative, it can be positive, depending on how you are taking it, on how you are going to see them. And I use another word, depending on how you utilize them. There are people who utilize trouble. There are people, trouble utilizes them. There are people who say, this thing that has come, it was meant for my evil, but I'm going to turn it for my good. I'm going to use it to maximize it. By the time I'm done with this trouble, I will be in a different level from where I am. And that is an attitude that somebody actually needs to build every time they found themselves in trouble. I want to say again, troubles can put you down, and again, it can lift you up. All the trouble, it can put you down, it can lift you up. Again, depending on how you handle them, depending on how you use them. You can turn that trouble to become a pusher of your life. And you can succumb and that trouble to become an oppressor of your life. How do you turn it to become a pusher of your life? You place yourself in a position that this trouble will become an advantage. Let us say you have not completed an assignment that was expected for you to deliver. And then you take your good time and say, how am I going to turn this problem into something? And begin to use it and say, this thing, I want it to work for me. I want it to work for my advantage. I've discovered some people, through this, they have negotiated to get some other support in their team. They have used it to say, we need more workers here. We need another support. We need some facilities to come and help us. In family, in marriage, in business place, you can just turn it. You can turn it. It is not easy, but you can turn it. You can take advantage and say, I want to take advantage of it. This one calls for somebody that is keen, somebody that is calm, somebody that is calculative. This one calls for somebody that is not panicky in nature. You know, some people panic. When we find ourselves in such a trouble, we panic. When we panic, we switch into a survival mode. When we switch into a survival mode, we can do just anything to survive. And many a times what we do, our defense mechanism normally goes towards the negative, and we destroy it more than the way it would be. But when we are keen, when we are calm, when we are analytical, we can say, let me calculate this. How can it destroy me? And how am I going to destroy it? How can it hit me? And how am I going to use it to hit back and let it help me? I'm telling you, every time you get trouble and you say, I'm not going to shake, I'm not going to panic, and then you sit down and be calm and be quiet. You know when to say, I'm sorry. You know when to say, forgive me. You know when to beg that give me another chance. You know when to tell people, no, I need some help. I'm crying for help. I'm seeking attention using this trouble. When you know all those things, I'm telling you, it will always work together for your good. But the moment you panic, you switch into defense mechanism, fight and flight, you end up doing wrong things. You end up giving it more power. Actually, every trouble possesses the power that is given by you. It normally comes with the power from wherever it is coming from, but the power to destroy you is in you. You can just turn it for good and make it better and work for you and make things just to be turned, the table to be turned, and then you begin to say, kumbe God had prepared such a table for me. That's why David said, he prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. That is how he used trouble. He was running away. he was being fought. But he said he prepares a table. Why? He turned my trouble into becoming my joy, into becoming my song. And my prayer for people, all of us, including myself, that may God turn our trouble into becoming joy. May God turn our trouble into becoming something. In trouble, your attitude matters. Your attitude matters. Sometimes when you play yourself as a victim of trouble, trouble will kill you. When you play yourself as somebody that has been positioned by God at such a time as this, and this trouble is part of the positioning, that trouble will benefit you. Look at somebody like Joseph in the Bible. Joseph was in trouble all through his life, but he never positioned himself as a victim. He always thought that this is part and parcel of the plan of God for my life. And I'm going to use this plan of God to make sure that my life just falls into the right place. Look at people like Jesus when he's in trouble, even on the cross himself. He says, "Forgive them, Father, for they do not know what they are doing." At some point he said, "For this cause was I created." At some point he would say that the Son of Man had to go through this in order for salvation to come. And I want to tell you that trouble of yours is not a surprise. It is not surprising God. It was within his plan for you, but how you are using it, your attitude, how is your internal disposition concerning this trouble? Is it going to overthrow you, or is it going to throw you up? Is it going to put you down, or is it going to push you up? And that one should be an attitude of everybody that is in trouble. And some people have wrong attitude concerning trouble. They feel like somebody is actually against them. Yes, somebody may be actually against you, but I have learned to put God in my trouble. Even if you are against me, but I always put God in my trouble, and I say, you are against me and God. And sometimes I tell myself, God is using you to put me where I am supposed to be. And I'm going to use this wind to fly. I'm going to use this storm even to soar higher. I am going to use this wave even to swim faster than the way I was swimming. I remember I used to be somewhere else working, and I wanted to, God had called me for this work that I'm doing. And some troubles began. And I spoke and I told the people there, you know, when people are chasing you, don't throw what God has given you and run away, because they are fighting you and chasing you because of what you have. And I said, what you need to do is to pick it and run with it. Run for your life and run for your destiny. And that's how I handle trouble. I run for my life and I run for my destiny. Running for my destiny takes advantage of my running for my life to make me move faster and faster every time. And that's my prayer for everybody, even as I take this short conversation with you, that you will take advantage of whatever trouble and allow it to carry you, to make your movement become even faster and faster. Your actions and reactions, they matter so much in times of trouble. They matter so much in times of trouble. Your actions and reactions. Sometimes refuse to react and turn that which would have been a reaction into becoming an action. A reaction is a response to what trouble has brought, or a response to other people. But an action is a move that causes force and make others to react. Take every trouble that comes your way and refuse to react and make it to become an action. How do you make it an action? Make that trouble to become your project. Make that trouble to become your program, and begin to work using that trouble. As you are solving it, as you are managing it, as you are handling it, that trouble, you have owned it. Now people begin to respond to you based on how you are handling and you are dealing with that trouble. Make it your projects. Own it. Own it. They have thrown you in a hole. Own that hole and begin to use that hole to climb up and to make other people to be served. Look at the way Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego handled that trouble. They were thrown into the fire. They told the king, even if we go into the fire and we die, we will still worship God. And when they went into the fire, the trouble they were in became the reaction of the king. The king said, and I am seeing 4 men in that fire, and yet we threw 3 men. Remove them, come out of the fire. They began to react to them. And as they were reacting to them, they arrested other people and threw them in the same fire. Remember how Daniel turned his trouble in the lion's den and made it to become his project. He was there, trusted God. And when the lion did not eat him, and the king comes in the morning and say, Daniel, my son, are you still there? Has God helped you? And Daniel say, yes, my God has helped me. And in the process, the king responds. He reacts. And they remove Daniel from that trouble. And they put other people into that trouble. You can make it your project. You can make it your own action. When you react, you respond. And when you respond, most likely you will fall into the pattern of where the trouble wanted to take you. But when you take it, internalize it, and then make it your own, you will discover that it becomes your project, and you begin to act on it, and people begin to respond based on how that trouble is coming to them. That's my advice to all of us every time we find ourselves in trouble. It's not easy. That's why I said you need to be calm, you need to be keen, you need to be analytical, so as to make sure that you're going to use this trouble. Remember, I said all things work together for good to those that love God. And he turned that which was meant for evil to become for the good. And that's how people like Joseph survived. That's how people like Jesus himself survived. They turned their trouble into becoming a source of greatness and power. They were lifted up because of their right attitude. When you have the right attitude, it will make you to live devoid of bitterness, devoid of anger, devoid of revenge. You waste a lot of energy being angry, bitter. A lot of energy you waste to think of revenge. I've seen people who lost their businesses rising up again, and they have become better than before. People whose businesses were burned down and destroyed completely, and they started again because they took that trouble and they made it to become their project, and they went higher. I've seen people who have lost their marriages. Their marriages were broken and totally destroyed, and they did not succumb. Or they lost their loved one and they did not succumb. And they have succeeded even more until you think the other person was the cause of the trouble that these people are going through, because of their attitude, how they took it and how they handled it. I have seen people in places of work that things became so hard, and then they say, I can't keep on quarreling with this man every time. And they move out and they start something, and they employ other people, including their former boss, because they have taken the trouble and made it their own project. I tell somebody today, let us all take the trouble and make it our project. Let us own it. Let us own it. Do you know the cross was a trouble to Jesus? The cross belonged to Satan. The cross was a product of Satan, was the action of Satan. But Jesus did not react. He took the cross. He owned the cross. He possessed the cross. And through the cross, he saved the world. The devil reacts now to the cross, that which was his. That which was meant for evil turned to become the good through our Lord Jesus Christ. He did not complain, oh, they're hanging me on the cross, oh, they are killing me here, oh, Satan is a liar, oh, my relatives are involved. No. He said, you have given me the cross, I take it. And that's why he tells us now, take your cross and follow me. He took the cross and he said, this is now my project. I will use this cross to bring the salvation. Take any cross that you are given, take any trouble that comes your way and turn it for your good. And you will see what the Lord is doing. The advantage of trouble is you develop skills. You develop skills. You build skills. You learn. How you came out of it, you learn. Patience develops, courage develops, other skills develop. The good thing with trouble is you build muscles. You build muscles. Things like fear disappear from you, anxiety disappear from you, doubt disappear from you. You learn to live with hope and faith, knowing very well that he who has begun a good work in you is faithful to bring it to completion. My dear brother and sister, my friends, young and old, I tell you, we cannot avoid troubles, but let us learn to take every trouble and to make all these troubles to become our project. And let us not react. Let us begin to act. And when we act, they will react. They will respond. May God bless you. Thank you for joining me. I love you so much. Thank you.